as packed can be. Stuff for a week with me. This is a Western Australia outback town. Yeah! A very good morning, everyone. I have just woken up a couple of hours ago already, actually. And today is an exciting day. I am going to Laverton today, which is my last stop of civilization. In a minute I'll show on the map where I am now. I'm in Kalgoorlie. And where I'm actually going to as well. I have packed up camp already and I have made it so that I'm ready to go. I'm going to go to a lookout first. It's called the Coober Pedy lookout. And the Coober Pedy is a ginormous mine where they mine for gold and other materials. Today I am riding from Kalgoorlie to Laverton. Now, instead of taking the highway going from Kalgoorlie through Menzies and Leonora and then to Laverton, I am actually taking a different road. I'm taking the back roads, so that way I only have dirt roads. It's about 355 kilometers. Then tomorrow I will start the Anne Beadell Highway. That one starts from Laverton and goes all the way to Coober Pedy. I am standing at the Coober Pedy lookout, and the Coober Pedy in Kalgoorlie is one of Australia's biggest open pit gold mines. It is over 600 meters deep. As you can see behind me, it is a huge hole in the ground, and with running a mine that big comes huge machinery. I'll show you one of the buckets they use on the front of the shovels in a minute. Did you know that they use over 1,000 tons of explosives every day to blast the rocks? Behind me you see one of the buckets they put on the front of a shovel to haul the ore out of the Coober Pedy. And one of these buckets cost $1.1 million. It weighs 68 tons and it has got 38 cubic meters of space inside it. The size of it is ginormous. For comparison, have a look at the size of the bike in comparison to the bucket they use to dig up the ore. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but down there you can see a big shovel driving down into the Coober Pedy. Now these shovels are huge, but the sheer size of the pit makes it look tiny. the supermarket. Get the last bit of supplies. I will not go any quicker than 80 kilometers an hour on the bitumen, because I've just got new tires with big knobbies on them, and they will wear out very quickly if I do any sort of high speeds. Back in the CBD, nearly at the supermarket. Now, I was going to spend 2 days in Kalgoorlie, however, because the forecast for next week says that it's getting warmer and warmer, I want to get out of this area. I've got 5 days of remote riding to do, and I want to have the coolest temperatures as possible. Alright, I am as packed can be. Stuff for a week with me, so it is time to go. As the bike's loaded right now, I have probably got about 350 kilograms in total, including the bike, and that's excluding myself. I'm going to attempt the Anne Beadell Highway, but to be realistic, I am not gonna be a hero. If I find out after 200 kilometers that the temperatures are too warm, I have to it's too physical, or if I've got any sort of doubt that I won't make it through, I am turning around. This is one of the most, no, this is the most remote track in Australia, so care should always be taken. Alright, I've just ridden out of town, on the way to Laverton. Now it should be about 5 hours, and then I arrive there. I'll make sure to take a stop in between, but for now we're just gonna ride for about 2.5 hours. For this trip I have made a couple of arrangements with myself. I have promised myself to keep an eye on the clock, and at least every 45 minutes, even if I'm not thirsty, at least every 45 minutes I'm gonna drink a couple 100 milliliters of water. Dehydration kicks in quickly, and I want to prevent that. Typically Australia, red dirt everywhere. I have arrived at the point where the road towards Laverton, where I'm going to, has gone from really fucked up bitumen road to a proper dirt road again. So the funny thing about Australia is there is dirt roads in Australia that are much better than bitumen roads here. It amazes me every time. So I've just pulled over, and as I was looking in the mirror that I still have, I found out that this fuel bladder was shifting pretty badly. So it's come that way a lot. While I'm taking a stop, I've seen that my swag is going pretty far backwards as well. So it is holding up, but nevertheless I took a stop and I've decided to shift the fuel bladder back into place, tighten everything up and then keep riding. The tires are going strong, everything else on the bike still looks alright. So I'll fix this up and then we'll continue on. A couple 100 k's to go and then I arrive. When you look at the drone footage, you see sort of tracks going off to the side of the main road that I'm riding on, and I can imagine that would be confusing, but those are not actually tracks. So the grader, which is a machine they use for roadworks, they make those sort of trenches on the sides. And it is made for the purpose of, if it rains, to get rid of the water of the road so it doesn't wreck the road. Then also in the distance you saw that white sort of thing. Now I can imagine that a lot of people will think that that is water. However, that is actually a dried up lake or a salt lake, either. Now my GPS shows me that we are going through a lake. However, we are so far inland in Australia that lakes don't contain water anymore. So most likely we are going through a dry lake, which isn't that bad at all. However, I do not like the dry lakes all that much, because they can be, and it's not always that they are, but they can be very, very sandy. As I was just explaining, because of how warm and dry it is in Australia, you get dry lakes or dry rivers in the outback. And what that means is when it rains, the river or the lake is actually full of water, but most of the year it is empty. And the trek that I am doing is going through one of these lakes. That is where I came from, and this is what the area looks like. So whenever it starts raining, this will fill up and be an actual lake with water in it for a few days, weeks, and then dry up again. I have reached the point that I'm down to my last bar of fuel, which isn't a problem because I'm carrying a huge fuel bladder with me to get enough fuel for the trek that I'm about to do. And riding without a shit ton of fuel on the back is much more comfortable. And I have just done 245 kilometers and my tank is nearly getting empty. So I've decided to empty my fuel bladder that I carry on the back into my main tank, so that I then don't have to worry about the huge bomb that's behind me, basically. $125 kilometers to go. Shit, yeah. Oh, sounds like a beast, doesn't it? Oh yeah. Now this is the river crossing. They have actually graded it since it's last been flooded. That's very nice of them to do for me. Steady 50 kilometers an hour. Perfect speed for air. And a grid. Ended up at the Laverton Highway, and it is another 42 kilometers. I have just hit the bitumen again. Nice. That will be the town over there. I have arrived in the little town of Laverton. This is a Western Australia outback town. And because we are so remote, probably the fuel prices and the prices of everything will go up. It's a really small town, and it shows off like that as well. I do like it. Ah, nice. There it is, the cop shop. Beautiful. Nice. I have let the coppers know what I'm going to do and what I'm about to do, and they have told me some strategies. So I'm going to ring someone at home every day at the end of the day, give out my longitude and latitude, and if I am not in touch within 24 hours, they are going to set up a search and rescue. I'm going to fill up my tank and do
one little bit of extra groceries, and then I am ready and set to go to the campsite and set up my camp. Let's have a look here. Nice.
This is tonight's camp. I am on a campsite in Laverton, which isn't really that clearly visible. Tomorrow I am going to do a very remote trek, but more about that tomorrow. If you've enjoyed my video, give a like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. See you next time. If you liked my video, let me know. Like, share, and subscribe.